Hello and welcome back to the finals. CBR MTG hosting Cancon. We are finally through the top 8 with the finalists Anatoly Lightfoot on Jeskai Mentor and Dylan Brown on Get Yiddy With It, aka 4-color Yidris, aka Black Panther. I believe we've gone through an explainer on Jeskai Mentor, but for anyone who doesn't, if you didn't watch the previous video, it's basically a sort of similar to the Legacy style Delver deck where you're putting one huge threat down and we're getting started right now, so that is totally fine. We're putting our thing back in our hand, showing off that hand. Dylan, very excited to be able to show off that Yidris. I know I versed him in round 1, and he has a very large Yidris that he likes to show off, so hopefully we'll be able to get to see some Yidris action coming out of Dylan's side.
It's a pity that Anatoly's on the draw. I was waiting for the him into Gush line. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Both players starting off with basics here. 3 or 4 color decks. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, clearly they're both worried about the Super Blue Blood Moon threat.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It's definitely true. Not knowing if they know what each other are on coming into this, but I can only assume going down to the very
having
last.
spoken to them beforehand, I'm pretty sure they both know
Both
what each
aware.
other are on. Yeah, one of them parading around a giant Yidris and the other one coming and asking questions of me earlier.
Yeah. We're seeing a Hymn to Torah coming out of Dylan as prophesized by Jacob. Taking away 2 cards, random cards, as is the rules of Hymn to
We
Torah.
got some things. Fire Ice and what was the other card?
Rabble
there?
Master.
Rabble Master, that's a good hit.
Yeah.
That's a difficult card for Yidris to deal with.
We saw
a lot
it
of
at-
damage coming out of.
Yeah, exactly. We saw in a previous video he slammed it on turn 3, which is truly speaks to the fact that this is not a control deck. He slams it, but he has the backup just in case he's versing a control deck.
There are a lot of free counters in this deck, and it's kind of functions as a tap out control deck at times.
Is he looking to Gush? No, there we go. Young Pyromancer. Okay.
And this is
he
what
was
we're
just-
another threat. More tokens. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another threat that has to die sort of immediately before it gets out of control.
Yeah, definitely speaking to the
Fetching
tap
a
out control deck.
plateau
that
there
could
rather
be-
than leaving himself up the option to Gush at the very least.
You're not really aiming. You're not really looking to gush on turn 2, like when you have a pyro. Like even when you have a pyro, like you want to gush is this thing you want to do in your
It's
main
just an
phase.
option you can leave yourself open to. Was my thought.
But you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Like you're not going to double strip
It's
on
not
yourself
something.
against
Yeah,
this deck.
I suppose
Like,
so. Yeah.
you want to get the mana advantage out of Gush. Like, turn 3 is an ideal turn to Gush because you're able to float to replay one of the lands.
It's the Rise Fall that I'm concerned about. So the double him, I think, would pretty much seal Tolly's fate.
Yeah.
And so having the Gush open would just be... I just think having the option is where I want to be. And
sure.
I can't think of any reason he specifically needs double red having the Volk in his hand.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out for him. We see slightly covered by glare a Ashiok on Dylan's side. Ashiok is a 3-mana planeswalker.
And here's the DAC.
And the DAC on the opposite side.
We talked about it in the quarters, that it's just such a powerful card. And that all day for everybody, it was just burying people.
Just an absolute all-star, just being able to filter through those cards. But we were talking before about the incidental value of being able to steal artifacts. So not knowing exactly what your opponent is coming up
and you can see an Electrolyze and a Fire and an Ice there, so Tolly even has the ability to utilize the ultimate.
I think we actually saw that in a previous match.
We did towards the very end. He was able to Electrolyze Tasiga for 1 and then 1 your face, and was able to steal Tom Cliff's...
What's that top card there? Which
Tasiga.
is that Fact or Fiction?
It is Fact or Fiction, yeah.
Yep.
So Dylan getting some insane value, like...
not having the red for Yidris.
Yes, I think he's probably very excited to cast that as soon as he can, but not having that red mana is not going to be good for him.
Yeah, we saw an excited Snapcaster Mage there, and then
we've now got the Snapcaster him line.
Yeah, but he decided to because if the Snapcaster gets forced, he couldn't Abrupt Decay as well.
Yep.
So
this is
he elected to decay the DAC over the Pyromancer.
So yeah, I'm thinking that the Pyromancer was the choice. The DAC is obviously a problem, but having the ability to just deal it damage normally, whereas the young Pyromancer can get very quickly out of control from the spells.
Yeah.
The DAC is a threat that you can answer over time. The young Pyromancers are just constantly a problem. The longer it's in play,
And it's going to get worse and worse the longer he leaves it.
I noted that when I was watching this, that maybe the Pyromancer was a much bigger threat.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it works out for them. Going to fetch this polluted delta.
Even potentially the Snapcaster Him line there, just because Dak functions better the more cards you have in hand to be able to streamline your hand.
Doesn't really work if you have no cards in hand.
It is so good with Gush. It's so good with Gush.
And that's where we're about to see it. I reckon we're going to see a Snapcaster Him from Dylan on the next turn, followed by a Gush in response, which is going to create a token and just give Tolly all the outs he possibly wants.
Yeah, exactly. And also like possibly getting rid of some lands that are no longer useful.
And slamming down a Jace here is just so good as well.
Yeah, Tolly's hand was stacked from the beginning, but here he's just the hand that Dylan's kept is slow against what I think he perceives as more of a tempo deck.
Yep.
And that's just going to cause him problems throughout the rest of the game. The Snapcaster Him's not going to be good enough. The Ashiok is not going to solve the problems he needs. I'm not even sure why Tolly's focused on it too much. He just needs to keep it in check, I think.
Yeah. Stopping that ultimate is valuable, and stopping it from having just as much loyalty as you want, like putting a Geist into play, putting a Snapcaster into play, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. Stealing. There are relevant threats he can steal. Yeah. Mentor would be pretty bad for Tolly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think so. The interesting thing is Ashiok being in play makes these brainstorms a little bit awkward because Dylan's definitely going to roll up next turn, so the cards you're putting on top
you're not going to keep.
You're kind of you're not going to keep, but you do get a kind of free shuffle.
So exactly. He's getting rid of those cards. He's got the spells.
Jorian.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jorian goes under. This is the first creature that we've seen coming.
An excellent creature to be in the Cascade deck.
Two
spells every day. There's Yidris in hand.
Yeah. So this is the first thing that we've seen coming off the Ashiok, the creature package that Anatoly is running.
Lack of red's killing him here. There's a Dreadbore in hand and a Yidris.
With the Jace Firm's Prodigy, the Snapcaster Mage, the Soulfire Grandmaster, Young Pyromancer, Geist of Saint Traft, Goblin Rabblemaster, Jurian, Monastery Mentor, and Vendilion Click, all kind of powerhouses in their own right.
It's Snapcaster Him. We're going to tap our mana.
Tap our mana correctly,
Yeah, the Snapcast, the Decay isn't... Yeah. Here we go.
I think the Him is probably just better at this point, just like trying to slow down exactly what Anatoly is doing, which is going away with the game.
Yeah, Gush to the Him. It's just an excellent answer that Tolly has.
We have Mana Leak and a Brainstorm as well, so he's just going to pick up these two lands, draw a couple of cards, and he'll have a very a much lower likelihood of getting rid of that Brainstorm or that Mana Leak that he got before.
Yeah, there's just a lot of nice little answers to in Tolly's deck.
Yeah,
there's a Stifle that could be hitting a Yidris trigger. Just looking up and down the list, there's some very convenient answers to any of the problems that Dylan's likely to present. He really just needs to grind him out in card advantage, and the hand he's kept just isn't going to do that.
Yeah, well, we kind of see probably a theme
losing an island and a click from Anatoly there.
Yeah,
Island
and with
the
young Pyromancer in play as well as the Jace. I mean, I think this game's most of the way over unless we see
there's still time.
Filter land for this in the deck come down double red.
Seeing the Little D's, this Tyrannosaurus got some attitude. Bad attitude. Yeah, that's the Yu-Gi-Oh card that has been used for many tokens throughout the day, representing a 1/1 elemental. I don't think Anatoly was too upset that he lost the island. The click might be a little bit annoying, but
I mean, it keyword flying is actually pretty difficult for the Yidris deck to actually block.
I understand the Him there. I'm thinking that the Abrupt Decay again on the young Pyromancer would have been just a much more of a problem because you're not dying without that threat in play from Tolly.
Well, the problem is that he's got Jace coming down as well.
Jace is a problem.
Yeah,
but Ashiok and Jace fight each other reasonably.
Well, I think the problem with the Him line is mainly the Jace being in play means that any card advantage that Him takes is just instantly recouped with a draw step and a Jace Brainstorm.
And the other thing, so they each dig 3 cards for a creature from Tolly's deck each turn, with the Planeswalkers in play.
Yeah.
And the first one to find one's going to have a great time.
Yeah.
So getting rid of that young Pyromancer, even with the Gush in response, it's a 1/1.
Yeah.
So Ashiok's still slowly ticking up towards that ultimate.
Yeah.
And Jace has to keep brainstorming. There's no real threat from a Fate Seal.
Yeah.
And even if you are Fate Sealing, you've got to compete with really good spells and the red source that's clearly missing.
Yeah.
So Tolly just doesn't have many options to be Fate Sealing with, and there's no creatures in play. So it's just Brainstorm versus Ashiok.
Yeah.
I think that also Tolly just having a bunch of sweet card advantage spells in his hand already. He has like a few counter spells. And
from Dylan's perspective, he's not going to know that his hand is stacked.
Yeah.
But
I'm more speaking to the fact that like how the game is playing out at the moment.
Yeah.
The decision to not kill the young Pyromancer twice now has just punished him so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's very much not inclined to pull this Jurian onto the battlefield for himself because, as we saw before when Anatoly was shuffling his library, it's getting very small. I mean, if you're just ticking up Ashiok every turn...
Well, it's also that he's just lacking the red source for most of the spells in his hand. And so he's not going to be able to trigger it. He's not getting the advantage from it. What have we drawn this turn?
Whatever we've drawn now, we've definitely seen
It's a Sylvan Library. All right.
Perfect. Just the perfect replacement for the top that he may have been playing, but I guess that's a useless top deck.
No. So it was never in the list because there's a Null Rod in the sideboard, and you had no artifacts, so there was no reason to ever...
Okay. Definitely a reasonable line. But Sylvan Library doing a very good impression of a top.
And we see Ashiok hitting a Snapcaster Mage here, which is fantastic.
Finally the Abrupt Decay.
So good.
We might have another chance.
Yeah, it's going to keep going up.
I think we're gonna see end of turn Brainstorm we've seen from Anatoly, and I think he's going to deploy that Path to Exile and Snapcaster Mage as well.
And then take out the Ashiok.
And then take out the Ashiok.
Well, at least, yeah.
Or at least attempt to. We'll see if Dylan has anything to say about that. We
No misstep. You can't... Oh, it's a lightning bolt even. Saving the path because keeping him off the potential red source, not knowing the list.
Yeah, that's good actually.
And then 6 with the Ashiok.
Yep.
And
that's
the Young Pyromancer just being far too much.
Yeah, it came down on turn 2 and survived a bunch of turns where it was unprotected and didn't actually make any advantage. And now it's just
I think Dylan's thinking about this Volrath Stronghold he's left open to be able to put the Snapcaster on top.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just Snapcaster Abrupt Decay now is, I think, too late.
Yeah, for sure. I think this Snapcaster is not going to resolve because we've got a Cryptic Command happening in Anatoly's hand.
Also
we've got a Cryptic Force and a Mana Leak.
And
the Brainstorm. Yeah, this game is... Anatoly's won, just Dylan doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. We see, I think there's a Field of Ruin in his hand as well.
No, Tectonic Edge.
Tectonic Edge. So what are we thinking about maybe going down a land destruction route? We see that he's already off red. We might be able to put him off double black as well.
Well, there's only Lily and him in the deck as the double blacks. And I guess my thinking on it is that this person's made it to the finals. Their deck's built reasonably well. Taking off the double colour. And I don't want to destroy the Volrath Stronghold because Dylan's clearly digging Snapcaster for it. So unless he's got a Maelstrom Pulse or something, that's not a great line. So I'd probably leave it there. The only thing I'd be thinking about is taking him off double blue so there's no enemy Jace or anything coming down. Or True Name.
Yeah.
I think the reason he's chosen to deploy Island here over Edge is because of that Cryptic Command.
Oh, for sure.
Values having that up as a counterspell.
Yeah.
That triple blue really
You've got
being
the counters totally. I think you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, just having a dismiss up is pretty good.
Yeah. Cryptic, are we going for the counter? Counter bounce the Sylvan Library and then force it and keep your opponent off just as much as you can. That's a line.
I think just flowing the card advantage. You know what's on top from Jace, so you may as well draw through it so you can see fresh cards next turn.
Yep. Okay.
Just playing as many spells as possible.
Collective Brutality, and here comes the Force.
Yeah. Pitching
and here's another guy.
Yeah,
Anatoly,
just so over at this point.
Having all of the
the
answers.
Not pitching the Yidris to take another counterspell from hand. The Yidris is potentially going to get you back in the game, but
just that fancy play syndrome. You know, you put these cards in your deck that you're like, this card is so sweet. I would love to play it.
He's ready to put the Yidris on film.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it might give him a bit of tunnel vision. As you mentioned before.
We've taken the Volrath Stronghold.
Yeah. So I think he's just doesn't want Snapcaster on top.
Yep, that's completely reasonable.
And like he has counter spells for any spells that happen, and the only thing that
also just Mana Leak is stronger with one fewer lands.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. All right, I'm packing it up as the young Pyromancer takes things home.
All right, so from the sideboard for Dylan, I think we're bringing in there's a Blightning, a Notion Thief.
A Carpet of Flowers he brings in here.
Carpet of Flowers. And if your opponent's playing blue, just snap out with the Elves of Deep Shadow and bring in the Carpet.
Yep.
The Rakdos Charm, you didn't see any artifacts there, but the ability to just kill planeswalkers with your opponent's guys is tempting.
Well, given the way these decks are usually constructed, like Rector's Charm is going to deal like 1 to 2 points, right?
Well,
Unless your opponent has
the young Pyromancer or the Monastery Mentor. I guess, okay.
And on Anatoly's side, we're definitely going to bring in those blasts. We've got Red Elemental Blast and Pyroblast coming in.
So what's Dylan taking out? I didn't say that.
Totally fine. We probably no reason to. What do you think about the Vendelkin Shackles coming from Anatoly's side? Is that worth it, or are we just
I think
not,
it's too
not going to bother?
little too XE.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's bringing. Tolly takes out Stifle. He takes out a Braid and Soulfire Grandmaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he takes out the Fire Ice.
I believe
he brings in the Blast and the Relic.
Definitely.
I believe Dylan takes out the Trigon, thinking it's a bit slow as a creature.
Yeah.
And
he brings in Deed as well.
Yep, indeed. But he takes out the DAC. And as we were talking about earlier, just the DAC digging through in many of the top 8 matchups, it's just been such a powerhouse all day.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what he was quite thinking there, that perhaps it was just...
Maybe his 3-drops are just more important. Anything that he has, he's either trying to answer Anatoly's threats with his 3-drops or deploy his own something that'll just be a little bit more influential in this game.
And here we go. We're getting a flash to the camera. There it is. It's DAC, Elves of Deep Shadow, Trigon, and Baleful Strix.
I don't know about putting out the Baleful Strix. It seems so good.
Being able to just kill whatever threat comes down.
Replaces
it's a 2-for-1, right?
yeah.
So, like,
We'll stop any of the Monastery Mentors or the Goblin Rebel Masters swinging in. He'll still swing with the tokens, I can only presume, but having the Baleful Strix would seems like a obvious include, but we're electing to take it out. The Elves of Deep Shadow seems. I mean, we do have a couple of mana dorks coming out of Dylan's side with the Birds of Paradise, the Elves of Deep Shadow, the Noble
you want to
Hierarch.
be able to getting into your guys quickly. So the couple of players are very good. I'm thinking that might have been better off boarding out something like the Ancestral Visions. That's unlikely to resolve.
Maybe just Punishing Fire.
Yeah, Punishing Fire.
Okay, definitely reasonable.
And the Ancestral Visions that's unlikely to resolve unless you're cascading into it. In which case you're in Gravy Town anyway.
I wonder what the thought process behind taking the Stifle out of his deck. It seems just as good as this deck. Yeah, for Tolly. So it seems just as good against Dylan as it would be in any other deck. So why take it out?
I think blasts are just more impactful.
Sure.
They have a more impact on the game. Like, it's not one of those decks where if you stifle one fetch, their whole mana base falls apart. He doesn't have the...
Despite being 4 colours and 21 lands, it's quite consistent with a lot of draw power. But the Rebs in particular, because Trino Nemesis is the sort of bane of these tempo decks in a very much the same way Blue Moon, the matchup was very much about Trino Nemesis.
Yep.
That's a card that he'll know is in the deck, and he'll know that is a huge problem for him.
So we're going to go to our opening hands now. We'll see what our players are packing in their 7 cards. Hopefully,
we've got the Rise Fall from Dylan. Loves his hymns on turn 2.
Yeah, I think we have another Jace in opener from Anatoly.
The Rise Fall is an interesting card that could have also come out because the Gush based play that he saw before against the hymns, that's just really awful.
Okay, reasonable. Turn 1 Deathrite being pretty strong in most formats, so I mean he'll be able to ramp into his 3-drops if he has any.
Goodbye.
Lightning Bolt.
Good night.
How many times has that happened?
Anatoly just saying the absolute worth of Deathrite Charm and not even letting me finish my sentence before he gets rid of it with a Lightning Bolt.
1 mana walkers, that's where it's at.
That's it. So we might see a hymn follow up by Dylan if he's just ready to.
So I think that the Rise Fall here, in particular, because your opponent's on the draw and they've played 1 land at this stage, it might be preemptive.
Okay.
So it's also potentially going to cause issues with his mana base. Fetching the wrong land here can cause you a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely a recurring problem in Highlander is that if you're playing 3-color decks, you pretty much have to play all the fetches in your colors. But if you incorrectly fetch, it'll just cause some pain.
So this game is probably going to come down to a lot of these things that happen in the early game. That Deathrite going away is excellent for Tolly, but this Rise Fall, if we're hitting a land, is just turning it into a 1-for-1 and not giving him that tempo against the tempo deck.
Yeah.
And not giving him the card advantage he needs to be breaking through. So
He really has to hit some
spells,
non-land permanents right now.
So we've got
Cascade Bluffs and Path to Exile. Yep.
Path to Exile, yeah.
Cascade coming back to hand.
Yeah, definitely not too bad for Tolly, that's for sure.
For the watchers who don't know what Risefall is, it's a him that doesn't hit lands. So when you reveal a land from it, it goes back to your hand.
Yep.
And the other side returns a creature from your graveyard and from play to their owner's hands.
Yeah, very good, as we've mentioned before and when we're doing Highlander, is that cards with lots of different options are good.
Here's the Eternal Witness. Did it get back something?
No. Tolly's answering with the logic. Not here.
Right, here we go. Yep.
Just
doing it for
delve
one.
on one.
Yeah.
The one keeping the path over the lightning bolt. Yep.
I think the path is like probably just not as good, but I guess it is a catch-all. If he does play the Yidris, he'll be able to take care of it pretty easily with the Snapcaster Mage. So really, Anatoly just not letting Dylan have any action at all, you know.
Yeah, got to keep him off that card advantage as best possible. And here we come, the card advantage war being turned around, coming down to 2 spells a turn.
Yeah, that's right.
Bloodbraid Elf Cascade slamming on the table. No
Slamming
respect.
it down. That's right. No respect for the game.
Cascading into a Pernicious Deed. All right, well that's hopefully going to keep Tolly at bay.
That's probably like, I feel like he'd be pretty happy about that. I mean, it's not showing any huge prevalence right now, but at least he has the option to pop it for 0 for 1.
Just keep the
all the
tokens
way
off
up.
the board in the later game.
Yeah, for just like non-Bloodbraid Elf permanents, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if he has to trade the Bloodbraid Elf for a
Jace with
Jace,
a Mind Sculptor coming down?
I think Dylan's joking about Jace coming and bouncing Bloodbraid Elf here.
Oh, yep.
definitely a classic line.
But I think we're going to elect to start things off with a Brainstorm.
See how we go from there.
Yeah, not the Jace Brainstorm, the normal Brainstorm.
You're not able to protect the Jace, so...
And drawing the extra card from the Yuri, is it?
Jurian,
yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, the text on Jurian reads simply, when you cast your second spell for the turn, draw a card. So he's
2/3 for 1 blue and a red.
Yeah, and he's going to be getting that incremental advantage as long as Jurian stays alive, which we can only imagine will be not very long. I mean, we'll see.
Card advantage in the tempo when it's coming from a tempo deck and going into that card advantage that Dylan wants to be holding over his opponent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's one of the strengths of Tolly's decks, that it has that tempo side to it as well. But he can play the card advantage game with things like Jace, Soulfire Grandmaster. Yeah, just drawing back up and stopping his opponent from being able to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he has the days in hand, so I probably would have been okay with playing that extra land and playing out the Jace because I have days, but I
think the 4th land came down this turn.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different story then.
Yeah.
But I think, hopefully next turn we'll see the Jace the Mind Sculptor. It's just game changing, you know. This will be something that will take out the game.
It's going to be brutal.
We
got something.
I think we're gonna nuke the deed. Take out just get your clean 2 for 1.
Yep.
And kind of move on with your life.
Yeah. Is it Electrolyze in hand?
There's definitely an Electrolyze in Dylan's hand. Yeah, but I think again, Anatoly just playing out that Jace, like Dylan kind of has to answer it because it also will get a lot of advantage.
Playing out a Jace without protection is an interesting call in particular. Yeah, so he's just opted to pass here because you just get a Fate Seal and any burn spell is going to deal with your Jace. And there's so many 2 for 1s. There's extra Electrolyze, there's Colligan's Commands, there's problems.
Yeah.
Here we go. I think we've got a Snapcaster.
Snapcaster doing its best Ambush Viper impression.
Followed by
it could target Path to Exile and kind of like force Dylan not to play a guy this turn. But I think you're going to get the most advantage out of it targeting something like a Brainstorm.
Yeah, absolutely. Where card advantage is very important. Looking at Anatoly's hand, just the Jace Mind Sculptor and the days. So I think he's just elected to.
He has elected. Did target the path?
No, he targeted.
He has targeted the Brainstorm.
Yeah, he targeted Brainstorm.
Into a Notion Thief, and here get punished by the days.
Yeah.
This is so unfortunate. I mean,
Yep.
This would be a Notion Thief that
would be game wrecking. That would be
game wrecking. Yeah,
Jace the Mind Sculptor going back on top, and Dylan being up 3 cards.
Notion Thief in a lot of sideboard slots for control decks, just because of that exact reason that you're able to draw your opponent's cards. And I mean, if you have 2 cards in hand and you elect to brainstorm and your opponent flashes in Notion Thief, like, you're putting your cards back on top of your library, not drawing any cards. It's just backbreaking.
It's the hard cast days as well. So we've got the Jace.
No, he returned it with.
Oh, did he?
Okay. Yeah. I think he just wanted an extra card to put back with Brainstorm.
Yep.
So you can just put it back on top and get the old play the land next turn.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. He's got a Tech Edge, and was that a Dust Bowl going back?
No, I don't think so.
Whatever it was, he wasn't very happy with it because he's sending it back with the fetch land off the Arid Mesa. Yeah. We saw a Gitaxian Probe and what I believe is a Time Walk in hand. So this might be something that he could really use to get some advantage, but he does have to put a creature down first.
I think that it's fine with just the Jace. He's got an ability to answer anything that Dylan brings down. The Bloodbraid Elf's already gone.
Okay.
Yep. So he can bounce and Time Walk. And Dylan's just fresh out of creatures at this stage.
Yeah, that Brainstorm's going to have to do a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely.
And the fact that Tolly now knows that that Brainstorm's going to have to do a lot of work.
He's going to be feeling pretty confident at this point, I think.
And also the Electrolyze, knowing that Jace is not safe on 2 loyalty, so he can plus it up to 5. If he
well,
wishes,
also knowing that if he does put it down to 2, he's got that Time Walk to keep it safe.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot.
There we go. We've got the Dreadbore.
Oh, Dreadbore is very
Jace,
good. And another
Snapcast.
Snapcaster Mage, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 cards going back.
So that was a very good Brainstorm.
Yeah. We've got the Fetch Land.
Getting rid of it, taking the Dreadbore. I think not electing to fetch just yet. He might still like the cards in his hand.
Fact or Fiction, Mystic Confluence, and Time Walk from Tolly.
It's a lot of good cards.
That is a lot of good cards. Even if we're... Because Mystic Confluence will allow him to draw a few cards, is it worth just playing the Confluence, drawing a bunch of cards, time walking, then taking the real turn?
I think that the counter draw 2 is where he wants to be at.
Okay.
Dylan's not going to land.
It depends on if he draws a
creature?
A creature. Yeah, that'll make
Draw go here, I think, is where it's at, unless there's something particularly grand that he draws off the top. Yeah, there we are. Draw go. There's a Geist.
There's a Geist.
Time Walk. Geist into Time Walk is pretty good.
Geist and Time Walk, that's a combo. We know that Dylan is tapped out, and we know that he doesn't have very much left in hand, so this is just going to be a free 6 for him, essentially.
Yeah. And also he gets to... the Geist protects himself through Hexproof, but he even gets to hold up
the Mystic Confluence.
Yeah,
this is a fast
That's
plot.
a great draw. That's a great draw.
Yeah. The Sylvan Library is going to have to do even more work than the Brainstorm did. The Brainstorm did a lot of work.
Yeah, the Brainstorm did a lot of work, for sure.
So what have we got there that I can see? I think there's a Dork and a Painful
There's
Truth.
definitely a Forest.
It's Hierarch, Painful Truths,
and Basic Forest.
Yeah. So, not a great one. Are we thinking about...
No, the Painful Truth is too risky. You're on 9. There's a taking 3, going to 6. You're
also, you know
board.
what's on top. He really needs a shuffle effect at this point, which I just don't think he's going to be able to get.
No. I think that taking the Forest and playing with the cards you've got in your hand, getting that Jace onto the table, just to be able to dig those extra few cards.
Yeah. It must be very disheartening being able to see your next 3 draws, essentially, and know that...
and with that Mystic Confluence, this is going to be pretty close to game. So we've got the Snapcaster coming down with 3 mana open, so the Mystic Confluence would have to do double work. But he can just counter the spell the Snapcaster has.
Yeah. It looks like he's going to target Rise and Fall if he does get an option where...
To get back the Eternal Witness?
Or Deathrite Shaman.
Here we go.
He will have to work pretty hard,
though.
But,
I think countering twice... And then drawing a card?
Yeah, seems like the best option. Just mana leaking him twice and then drawing a card will be able to ensure that he does not resolve it. The guy stays on the battlefield and he's probably just going to have to pass the turn from here.
Noble Hierarch to block a single shot of 2 damage.
Which is what it's going to have to do, right?
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, and he's got to pray for that last card because he can save himself 2 damage here, draw the Painful Truth, draw 3, and he has to find the Land Lily.
Well,
it's not looking good for him.
Well, he has to find specific Land Lily because
absolutely.
triple black to do the whole kit and caboodle.
Not playing any Wraths in his main deck.
Couple of Flowers also performs that role for him, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But this all relies on Tolly having absolutely nothing as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And
Which,
historically... He's got the mental misstep for the Carpet of Flowers answer. And is that a fact or fiction in hand? Or is it... No, I have no idea.
So we're just going to take the 4.
Ajani Vengeant. Well,
yeah.
that's going to
Yeah,
crush
the
many
Ajani-
dreams.
Ajani Vengeance.
That's a Helix.
Could just be exactly what he needs.
Well, if he didn't block with that hierarchy, he would be dead. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think he saw that.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the card he needs, the exact card he needs off the top, he's in a lot of trouble.
Well, this Ajani tick down is going to turn off that Painful Truths as well. So kind of looks.
The Johnny, it's not even the tick down. He just ticks up here, keeps him off that land. I think.
Yeah. It takes away the sea. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Keeps him off double black.
Well, it gives you the 2 helixes, and it keeps you off that extra solution you might have.
Okay, sure.
So we've got the Painful Truths, the Forest, and a Lightning.
All right.
Yeah.
Not quite enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
that's the win for Tolly.
Yeah,
some excellent draws and just some really powerful cards we saw on Tolly's side of the field.
Absolutely.
And, perhaps not aggressive enough mulligans from Dylan.
They both played very well. Dylan was awarded a Underground Sea, as you can see in this picture here, for his efforts, taking out the 62 players to get all the way down to the finals, but Anatoly taking it out, keeping the trophy in Canberra and winning that Mox Ruby. Congratulations to...
I was a little bit concerned lending that deck out that perhaps it might end up scoring a trophy, and the closer it got, the more threatening it was. We got to the finals.
Yeah. You were sweating. So congratulations, Anatoly, for taking it out, winning that Mox Ruby, and claiming the Highlander National Champion for 2018. Please stick around for always more content from CBR MTG, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.